going on, everyone? This is the Popcorn Heroes review of Army of the Dead on Netflix.
A Zack Snyder feature.
The Zack Snyder joint. I am Armando. With me today is Pedro. What's going on, homie?
Hello.
Nice. So we're talking about Army of the Dead. Came out recently on Netflix. One of their, major releases. It also dropped in movie theaters a week before the movie released. I went to go see it in all of Dolby glory. It was great.
You Dolby'd it. Nice.
The sound was perfect. The visuals were on point. Loved it. But before we get into our thoughts and score, Pedro, give us a little premise.
All right. So the premise of the movie is actually very straightforward. Nice little elevator pitch, if you will. It's essentially the zombie apocalypse, and a group of mercenaries decide to go into Las Vegas, overrun by zombies, and steal the money from the casinos. So it's a heist zombie movie.
Nice.
And that's the gist.
Beautiful, Pedro. I loved it. I felt like I watched the movie.
Nice.
So, not before, like we usually do, Pedro. We give our small thoughts on the film, and then we give a little rating, and then we jumped into the spoilers. So, Pedro, since it's only me and you, tell me your small thoughts and your rating.
So my 1 out of 5, I thought about this. I was going between two scores, and I've decided that I'm going to go with 2.5 out of 5. I thought it was okay. I didn't like it, but I didn't dislike it. It's kind of in a little medium of mediocre to me. Like, it was there. So right smack in the middle of our what am I thinking? Our score thing. So.
Yeah.
The reason why I give it that is because I was very disappointed in the movie. I thought that it had big tone issues. There's a certain vibe that I was expecting, and it's kind of gets to, and then it just totally 180s the tone, in my opinion. I thought it was a very bloated movie for the simple premise that it was. They added so much extra shit, probably to create a universe. But I thought that it backfired in that regard. And a lot of the characters I didn't give a shit about, along with a lot of the side plots. But there were a couple strong characters. There were a couple really strong scenes. And yeah. But overall, I was disappointed.
Interesting. I got a completely different opinion from you. I mean, I wouldn't give it a higher rating than 3. My rating is 3. Maybe 3.5, but leaning more towards the 3. I thought the movie was good. It's exactly what I wanted from it, right? I wanted a over the top, zombie flick, and it's exactly what I got from it. It's not it wasn't like his usual fare of Dawn of the Dead, where Dawn of the Dead is more of a horror type survival movie. And this is just straight up a fun movie. Like, hey, let's go in here, let's fuck shit up, and let's get out. And that's exactly what I wanted from it, and exactly what I got from it. It's just people going in to hijack a casino. I mean, not to hijack a casino, to rob a casino. And that's exactly what I needed from it, and that's exactly what I wanted from it. I do agree this, it's a very flawed movie, for sure. I mean, there's a lot of stupid shit in that movie. A lot of things that need more explanation. But overall, it was just... I went in there just for the action, and that's what I got. I got some action sequences that were pretty cool, and visually it was a nice looking movie. There's this visual tick he had in this movie that he had in what is it, in the Snyder Cut. No, the Snyder cut.
Snyder cut. Yes, I agree. I think I know exactly what you mean about that too.
He kind of mirrored that here. I think he went over the top here. I think that's the thing with Zack Snyder. I feel like sometimes when he loves something, he just goes over the top with that one thing. And this movie had a lot of that, which kind of annoyed me. But overall, I think the movie was pretty decent.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's I think it's worth a watch. Like if you just want if you're in the mood for garbage film, like like junk food. There you go. If you're in the mood for junk food, and this is like this is like the fast movies for me. Like it's just junk food. So the Fast series is junk food. Like you don't expect. You don't go in there to expect a deep plot or deep meaning or anything like that. You just go in there because you want to see them do crazy shit. And that's what this movie gives you, people doing crazy shit. So if you're in the mood for junk food, I say definitely give this shit a watch. What about you, Pedro? Do you recommend this movie?
I do not.
Oh, shit.
I agree with the junk food aspect, but to me it's junk. It's on the extra level of junk food. It's higher notch than sci-fi original, but it's getting there. It's getting there. It's just got a bigger budget. But no, I wouldn't recommend that. I would say pass. There's better shit out there.
Interesting. All right. Even with your Netflix subscription that pretty much everybody has, you still think it's a pass?
Yeah, I still think it's a pass.
Cool. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to get into it. The reasons why we hated this in the spoilers or loved it in the spoilers coming ahead. Pedro, there is spoilers ahead. If you haven't seen the movie or you do not care, I mean, if you have seen the movie and you do not care, stick around. If you haven't and you want to go watch it, come back. Look what time it is. It's approximately 7:38 or 7:40, whatever you want to call it. That's what time it is right now on your thing.
Yeah, ballpark.
Just pause it and come back. We're on Spotify. You can just pause it and you just come back. It's fine. Spoilers ahead. Spoilers.
All right.
Spoilers. All right, Pedro, why'd you hate it?
All right.
Give it to me straight, buddy.
Let's start with the beginning. So, let's start with even further than that. So I saw the trailer, and the trailer looked really fun. Like, just the advertising, the marketing for it was very, like, spectacular. Even look at the posters, like, neon lights and shit, very Vegas, very, like, booming. And then you watch the trailer, and the trailer is essentially the over-the-top montage, the opening montage. Pretty much the best parts of the movie are in that trailer where you're thinking, man, this is just wild. Like, what are these guys doing here? Just like wasting bullets on a mountain of like zombies and shit. This is going to be a balls to the wall version of Dawn of the Dead. It's going to be not exactly Shaun of the Dead where it's dry humor, but it's going to be like Zombieland. I thought it was going to be a Michael Bay Zombieland. That's what I thought.
Okay.
And I thought the humor was going to match that. So, in the beginning, you get the military guys talking about what they're transporting, very self-aware about what type of movie this is going to be, like bullshitting aliens. And then you actually do see aliens in the sky. There are these two bright white lights that just zoom out. And I saw that, and I'm like,
I didn't notice that until somebody pointed it out in the article. I'm like, oh, shit.
I was watching with my family, and I saw it. I'm like, yo, did you guys see that? And I paused and rewound. And I'm like, look at that. This movie's going to get real fucking weird if they're going to go that route. But it never did.
No.
They just played with it. And then you had the couple that just got married. He's getting head, and and it crashes. And I'm like, yep, this is already like crazy. Like balls to the wall shit. You get the zombie, whatever. Anyways. And then you get the opening montage, the slow-mo where they introduce the cast of everyone. This guy with the saw. They're all killing shit. And then they have that cool little... what am I trying to say? Like a juxtaposition, there we go, of the action, and then it cuts to them all standing still with like a family photo of what they were before. So like in Batista's case, you saw him with like his Christmas sweater that I found out about this after. Someone zoomed in on it, and it's a Christmas sweater of like tacos. to show that his food truck thing that he brought up a couple times, little things like that. So I'm looking at this opening and I'm like, man, this is awesome. You get to see everyone shine. And then they even show like a teammate die, a nice little, Zack Snyder always does his opening montage slow-mos, kind of like Batman
really
vs. Superman, shit like that, So I'm like, oh, he's doing one of these again. Cool. And then after that, the movie gets super serious. And it doesn't even get like this again until they're planning the heist. And it does the whole them planning it like dun 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 dun, and you kind of see what they imagine it's gonna be. And I'm like, this is fucking great. Again, they're bringing it in. And then after that, never again. It was this tone issue of like, we're trying to be super serious, but then we're over the top with aliens and robotic zombies near the end, and it just got like real fucking weird. Even the what am I thinking of? Even the vault scene where it was shooting darts and then it smushes you, it jumps right back to comedy. So I'm just like, pick a fucking tone, because it was jumping two extremes to me.
Yeah.
And that's the main part I hated, was the fact that it couldn't decide what it wanted. It threw too much shit. And it kept forcing me to think, oh, you're trying to be a serious movie about like daddy issues and shit. And I'm just not buying it. So
you're saying you would have preferred them just to go balls out. Like, they go in there, right, storm it out,
yeah,
fuck shit up.
Honestly, one or the other. But the fact that they started, to me, so strongly with the balls to the wall aspect of it, I was like, yo, this is gonna be great. This is like I said, the best comparison in my head was Michael Bay Zombieland, and I'm like, this is gonna be great. I can't wait to see the craziness that happens here. And it didn't deliver. It teased me twice, and it didn't deliver, and I was very disappointed.
I could accept that, yeah. This movie definitely did that. It definitely, like, hey, we're gonna go balls out, but nah, not really. We're gonna try to sneak around the zombies. We're gonna try to do all these different things, and the trailer didn't portray that. The trailer did portray them like going like, oh, we're gonna fuck shit up, and we're gonna rob this shit, and we're gonna go balls out, and we're gonna fly it out of here,
Yeah, so I remember you and we watched the trailer at the same time, and we were like, oh shit, this is going to be stupid fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait for stupid fun. Instead, I just got, in my opinion, just stupid. And I'm like, damn it. I don't want serious stupid. I want crazy dumb, like.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. I do agree with that sense. But for me, I think I like the movie overall. And so I don't feel that let down by it. Because I just expected to leave my head at the door, and just have fun with it, and that's exactly what I got when I went to go see it. I wanted to go see it in Dolby, and the sounds and boo 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 boo. It was just fucking perfect. So for me, I was in my zone. Like, oh, this is what I wanted. There are some parts that were very cheesy that I didn't really care for. I can't remember it right now, but there's just some stupid moments. I'm like, God, that's kind of dumb.
I'm sure.
I think it was mostly like the zombie stuff, like, like it's just
And then to add to that montage, they had the opening montage. They had the Liberace scene where he's playing, and that's when the zombies come. And then you had the Elvis Presley impersonator zombie. You had the showgirl zombies. Like, it was really embracing the absurdity of Vegas being zombie-like, and then it went down to even the colors got bland afterwards.
They did.
I would have loved to have seen a night scene. Like, maybe they would have had more time before the bomb dropped, and they did the generator, so they started everything back up. It would have been kind of cool to have them suddenly turn on Vegas at night, and then you see the cool colors, and maybe bring that part. And, some of the zombies were fucking robotic and blue eyes and weird shit. That probably could have looked pretty neat at night. Some action scenes there, There was just so much potential that they didn't deliver.
Yeah, for sure.
One of the... I know I brought it up on this podcast before, but like Chekhov's gun. If someone introduces something, you got to use it. Why else would you waste our time to introduce it? So there were a couple Chekhov's guns that never happened. I'm just going to call them the reverse Chekhov guns.
All right. So what was it?
One of them was the big saw. You get it in the opening montage, and he's like, whoa, don't touch it. He pulls it. All this setup for a big fucking saw, and he never uses it. They only use it to, like, cut something to break out. I'm like, that's it?
Yeah.
That's not the big payoff. The other one was the dry zombies. Remember where they first jump in and all the zombies are kind of dried out and like dead there? You know?
Hibernating.
Yeah, they're hibernating. They're like, oh, when it rains, they rehydrate and come back. And I'm like, something's going to happen. Something's going to happen.
I know what you're talking about,
And it never happens. Obviously, it's Vegas. You know, how often does it really rain in Vegas? But I was thinking at the very least, maybe the sprinklers were going to go off in the casino and then they reemerge, and that would have been a really intense scene. But that never happened. They brought up the idea of dry zombies that can get wet and wake up, and they never did it. So I'm just like, why even bother with that line of dialogue if you're not going to deliver on what would have been a pretty exciting scene? So I just felt like he threw a bunch of shit and fuck it, and decided, you know, maybe it was a 10-hour movie and he's like, oh no, I gotta shrink this down, so let's crunch these ideas together. So it's just too much shit that was like that. Yeah, man.
What I find very curious of this movie, I mean, you know, Snyder was he's essentially universe building here. I mean, this is the first thing of many things he's gonna do. He has an anime he has an anime coming, and he also has a show about the locksmith guy.
I'm looking at it here. He's got 2 prequels, Army of Thieves, a film, and then he has the one you're talking about, the animated one that's called Army of the Dead Las Vegas.
Yeah. So I understand the fact that he was probably just trying to universe build here, but I'm very curious about the alien part of it all, right? Some people are theorizing that the humans experimented on alien shit, which caused the zombie to happen.
Yeah, I'm sure. Mm-hmm.
And you know, there was aliens there. There seemed like there was aliens within the zombie population itself. So there's a lot of weird shit in this movie that it makes you wonder what the fuck is what's happening here. You know?
Yeah, definitely. One of the things, I mean, I understand you trying to throw a bunch of stuff to universe build, but you got to have a strong foundation. Like Marvel had Iron Man. Iron Man didn't bring up gods, didn't bring up magic. Iron Man kept it simple, you know? Nice, strong foundation, and you build from there. Fast and Furious, they were stealing VCRs, and now they're in space. You start with a strong foundation. Yeah. You don't start at space right away, you know? I felt like this should have stayed a little more either grounded or balls to the wall crazy, but maybe don't introduce all the stuff. Like, I remember at one point they were even introducing, maybe it was just a joke, but I didn't really understand the humor of it, was the time loop theory. Where they're like, oh.
That's a major one, dude. And people actually believe strongly that there's a time loop in this movie.
They're dressed exactly the same. The girl has the same necklace. It's too crazy. And why would you drop that in as just a joke if they're dressed exactly the same? Like,
some people are saying
exactly.
Some people are saying that the sequence where they're balls to the walls and they're shooting, that's another time thing.
Yeah, I guess. But
some people are saying that the ending of the movie is another time loop, another time whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
the name
of
it.
course.
Because at the end of the movie,
another Groundhog Day.
Yeah, because essentially at the end of the movie, he's bitten. But when you're in the vault, you never see him get bitten. The leader never really bites him. So
no, you know, I didn't bother to rewind to see, but I'm assuming in the scuffle of when he grabs him and he throws him in, at one point he got bit, and they just didn't bother to explain it. Even though the timeline of how long it takes for you to turn is very fluid. Because there were people that turned instantly. Batista turned in after a couple minutes. And this guy turned after, what, like 12 hours? How long did it take him to get the money?
Yeah.
Walk to an airplane, buy the airplane, and then sip some champagne, and then feel woozy. I was so confused. I thought he got drugged by the girls. I thought the girls worked for the Japanese dude. I was like, did they just drug him and steal the money? What's going on? And then it's like, oh, I got bit. I'm like, really? That's it?
It might have been at least a day. Since he got out, did all that, got on the plane.
I'll chuck that off as poor writing with coming up with rules on that.
So some people are saying that that's another timeline. So people say that there's at least 4 timelines in this movie. if you actually like break it down.
Yeah, I can see why people would think that. I'm not buying that, but at the same time, I'm also if I don't buy that, then what was the point of adding that scene, that time theory scene in the first place? If it was so,
it has
bizarre?
to mean something. It has to mean something.
If this was a balls to the wall movie like I wanted it to be, I would have took it as, remember that Zombieland joke where they in the second one where they find their copies and it's a joke.
Yeah.
I would have took it as that, like, oh, haha, that's funny. It's just like them. But this is, for the most part, a pretty serious movie. And now I'm just like, why would you do that? So it's very weird.
They're also saying because in the when they're imagining how everything would go, when they're breaking down the plan, when they open the vault there on the left hand, so when you're watching the screen on the right hand side, when they open the vault, there's 3 guns. And those 3 guns are from the YouTuber. And that's the 3 guns. So they're saying that this is part of the 4th time they've opened that vault in that scene. Because it seems like they said that the YouTuber, when he opens the vault, he puts his gun there. So those guns that were there are from the YouTuber because they look exactly the same. So people are going ham with this, dude.
So potentially, if all these theories are in somewhat of a good direction, this is a zombie, heist, alien, robot, and time loop movie all in one.
Probably. Yeah.
What the fuck is what I gotta say to that one?
It's a lot of crazy shit, man. So I think if they would have just stuck to the balls to the walls, I think all of this would have made more sense. Like I think like
maybe. Because
it's outrageous. So you're like, oh, there's a timeline.
Yeah.
There's different time loops here. Oh shit, that's crazy. That's outrageous. You know, there's aliens here. That's outrageous. There's robots here. That's outrageous. So I feel like if it would just been outrageous itself, the movie, I think all of this would have made complete sense. Like, oh yeah, I could see that happening because this movie's fucking crazy. But in the sense of like how you say, like this movie, it toys with the serious tones. It tries to keep you serious and grounded. That a lot of these elements just feel like Easter eggs or stupid, you know?
Yeah, definitely. They just feel like, like a wink, and you're like, okay, what the fuck are you winking for? Like,
yeah.
What's going on?
Especially with the robot zombies, which I kept noticing these fucking zombies with blue eyes. Even the main guy, when he gets shot, he shoots out blue. He goes blue.
Yeah, so this is where I'm a little confused about. So I took it as anyone that's an alpha has the blue, the bioluminescent look. Even the baby, when they pulled the baby out, the stillborn, it was blue.
And
but the robot part we're talking about, it had blue glowing eyes, which we never saw before. And then when they shot him in the face, it shot sparks. And then you saw a fucking Terminator-like skeleton under the skin. That's where it got weird. That wasn't alpha blue. You know, that was like robotic. And then I thought it was crazy because I saw that scene. I'm like, what? And I looked it up after, and there's an interview there somewhere. I saw the excerpt of it, and it was him talking about Zack Snyder himself saying, oh, when you watch the movie, I'm excited for you guys to see if you can point out the zombies that aren't really zombies. And I'm just like, what? No explanation. He says a little bit more about that in the prequel. I'm like, oh, you fuck you.
Yeah, it's. I think he overthought a lot about this shit, and I think
way too much.
I feel like he the key to success. I mean, to success of any franchise is the simplicity of the first movie, right?
Yeah,
and how you kind of hint at it in the background. You know, you don't shove it in people's faces. So I feel like in this movie, there's a lot of things that he kind of shoved into it. I mean, I love the idea of these robots is very interesting if he didn't fucking say anything about it, and just let the different movie film speak it out, explain it. I don't know.
The only one that seemed, obviously I gotta wait for the explanation, yada yada yada, but the only thing that would have made sense to keep it simple is maybe keep the hint of the UFO there, I suppose, because it's so subtle, right?
Yeah, it's very subtle. I didn't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, and then keep the alphas. I actually like the idea of the alphas. The fact that they're smarter, they can reproduce. I think it's cool because it reminds me of the I Am Legend part of it, where they're another race. Mm-hmm. They're just an evolution of people. The robots and the other weird shit, yeah, man, you fucking lost me. You lost me at the time loop and the robots, big time. Like, yo, you should have at least kept it to like one concept and roll from there. But there's just so much other weird...
or not even focus on the time loop, right? Just have him there and never focus on them. Just have him like these passing bodies, and then when people break it down, like, oh shit, these bodies look like it, you know? And then you kind of go from there.
And then in the next one or whatever your fucking plan was, dive into it. Sure.
Yeah, like have all these little hints there, but just never focus on any of the hints. I think that would have been, you know, the key, I guess, to keep the movie simple. And just be balls to the walls. I feel like this movie should have been better balls to the walls.
Yeah. Bonkers, crazy. It should have definitely. I got a question for you. What was the whole angle of the Japanese guy?
So the Japanese guy,
because the more I think about it, the more it doesn't make any sense. No, so what did you understand?
The Japanese guy, all he wanted was a head of an alpha to study it to create more alphas for himself that he could control. That's it. Because if he sells that, he makes billions in military.
Weapons, you're right. Yeah, the ability to make more. Yeah,
that's all he wanted. He just wanted to weaponize it. Right. And the this is the thing I still don't understand though, because he definitely sent out more than one team in there, and they've all been highly unsuccessful. So this is the first team that kind of went in there almost succeeding. So like his end game in general was to go in and get a sample ahead or something to be able to create more of these to you know, find out how to create more of these guys to make money from it. So what I want to know, how many faking people he sent in there? Like, why couldn't he just send some fucking militarized motherfuckers, go in there, you know, break some necks and get the fuck out?
What I want to know is way simpler than that, because obviously, like you said, there were previous teams, and it looked like they were trying to crack into the safe, unless it's the whole time loop thing. No, but let's ignore that for a second.
The safe is just a MacGuffin to get people to go in. He doesn't give a fuck about the safe. All he cares about is the zombie. That's it.
Now, but hear me out. Why couldn't he just get the coyote or a special team and just say, "Yo, I just need an alpha's head"? Why the whole lie? Like, yo, I'll pay you to chop off this alpha's head. Hire the coyote girl from the beginning. They could have technically have killed the girl in the beginning instead of doing that whole... The queen. They could have killed her in the very beginning instead of doing the whole honor... what is it called? The trading thing.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's there. And then he gets the head eventually near the end of the movie. And instead of leaving with the coyote girl, he fucking goes back to the vault to then lock them in there. It's like, why did you have to do all that? You got the head, just dip. Like, that part, the more I thought about that, the more none of that made any sense. It's like,
Yeah, it doesn't make sense because...
It was a MacGuffin, like you said. It is a MacGuffin, like you said, but it was a very badly thought out one.
I just feel like he should have just left, like you said. He should have just betrayed them.
I would have preferred. I thought there was going to be something in the vault that has to do with the zombies, like a cure or some shit that's in there that's not money, and that's why they wanted to get that. Because obviously they're like, "Oh, we're gonna rob it." I'm like, this nigga's rich as fuck. He obviously doesn't care about the money, so I didn't understand the point of it. I would have preferred there being something in the safe. And how does he not know the key to his own safe? Because that's his safe. And he was telling them to hack it. He didn't even know his own code to get into his own safe. It was just so much weird shit. Like,
look, what I think is the biggest failing of this movie, and you could have kept it simple, right? It still had this whole MacGuffin shit. Have the team go in there. Because, again, you want it to be a distraction. You want to go in there, get the head, and get the fuck out, right? As the head of security guy, he should have just gotten ahead, like you said, killed the coyote, and just left them there. Like, all right, you guys figure this shit out.
And then left them there, and that's the end of that subplot.
That should have literally been the end of that plot. And then you explore it later on in different movies, why the head it was so important. So the fact that he went back and he continued on this, that just completely made that plotline stupid. It's just like it became irrelevant at that point. Like these people don't know the true meaning why you're here, but why did you go back to them? Like you don't need them anymore. You needed them to get in to distract the zombies, and you were able to get the head. So get the fuck out.
Yeah,
just go back in the same way you came in from, and have a car waiting for you and leave. You know, like it was just stupid.
There was another thing that I was like yelling at the screen, like, why would you do that? It was more of the zombies part. So the king, I think they said they call him Zeus.
His name is Zeus. Yeah.
Very symbolic because it's the Olympus Hotel. Very cute. I see.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. So I guess the queen is like his Hera. If your queen is pregnant, why are you having her going out on patrol and shit and not defending the fucking baby? And then you go, oh my God, they killed my baby. Well, yeah, because you sent her out instead of you. Like, yo, what the fuck?
Don't you have a Lancelot or something, man? Like, Jesus.
Yeah, yo, but the two guys, all the people he killed in the beginning, I think it was just 2 or 3 guys. I don't remember right now.
He killed out the entire army, but he converted 2 of them to alphas.
He converted 2 of them. Those 2 guys should have been. We should have saw 2 zombies there and been like, oh, those are the guys from the beginning. They're his like patrol, his Lancelot, if you will, and then go from there. It was just weird.
And you didn't see them again.
I'll just chalk it off to dumb zombie shit, I suppose.
Yeah.
Even though they're smart and he wears armor to cover up his head. And everyone got really good at aiming at that moment. He's like, oh, let me put this helmet on. Everyone's doing headshots. It's like you pulled out you pulled out that machine gun and were shooting zombies into fucking sushi, and you couldn't do it at that moment. You had to do the headshots. All right, fuck it. So I'm gonna beat up this movie for one more subplot, and then I'll actually go into the stuff I like. So
let's go, dude.
The biggest subplot that I fucking hated, that had no payoff whatsoever, which I'm sure you're gonna agree with, was the whole daughter saving random ass chicks that she goes,
and they all died.
She goes, hey, if you end up dying, I'll take care of your kids. She's gone, and she's like, I'm not gonna take care of the kids. I'm gonna go save this girl and sabotage the entire mission. It's literally her fault that everyone died, because it could have at least been Batista and the pilot. But, you know, and then the craziest thing that I was yelling at the screen again at the end, when the crash actually happens, she goes right to the dad. No regard at all for her friend. The whole purpose of half the plot of this movie, you chasing after this girl, was in there in the helicopter dead. There was no scene, no moment where she went, oh, Fulana, are you alive? No, nothing. Nothing at all. She was just dead there. Nothing at all. I was like, what a waste.
That character, his daughter, was the most annoying person in the entire movie.
She
was highly irrelevant to everything and anything in this movie. There's nothing about her that made sense. Her plotline was the stupidest part.
At least, yeah, there needs to be a use for that.
I think because of her, I gave this movie a 3, because I think if she wasn't around, this movie would have been better. It would have been more straightforward. But first of all, this lady's like, yo, if anything happens to me, take care of my kids. That bitch didn't give a fuck about the kids. You're like, oh, I ain't taking care of no kids. I'm gonna get you out of the zombie place.
Yeah,
so you can take care of your kids.
Care of the kids. You're gonna take care of the kids, not me. I am gonna go into zombie hell to get you, so you can take care of those kids, not me.
It was just so stupid, dude. It just kind of like, and she didn't save them. And she everybody killed. It was like, oh my god.
The whole internment camp thing.
I didn't understand that. I didn't understand those camps. Like, you are United States citizens.
It was so weird. It's like, hey, you used to live in Vegas. Now Vegas doesn't exist. So you're going to chill in this camp, and we're going to check your temperature reading from Sons of Anarchy dude, who they threw in there just to have some type of subplot. No point. No point whatsoever. And then they set him up to be some kind of villain, and he gets killed in like 5 seconds. So it's like, there's no purpose whatsoever for you.
I didn't mind him being sacrificed. Like, his plot line was to literally just be sacrificed.
Right, but I thought since he was going to be one of the smart ones, he was going to come back as a bigger force. Instead, he just showed up and got killed.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant. I'm not talking about the sacrifice part of him being killed in 5 seconds. I'm talking about him coming back as an actual force. I'm like, oh shit, he's gonna be one of the. I'm just gonna call them that. One of the Knights of the Round Table. He's gonna be going around. He's gonna have memories. He's gonna go after the coyote and the daughter specifically. No, none of that. So much potential there, at least for that subplot. It made all of that useless.
Yeah, it was just I didn't. I'm getting confused here. I really didn't like the fucking camps. I just thought it was just highly irrelevant. I feel like those camps made sense within like the first 2 weeks of the zombie apocalypse there, because you want to make sure that people coming out of the city aren't infected, right? But once you see they're not infected, why the fuck, as a United States citizen, would I still be in that stupid ass camp? Like I just didn't understand that. And they weren't government officials. People taking care of that. They weren't government officials, so it's kind of like, what's the
they were
point
saying,
of the
hey,
camp?
volunteer. They're volunteers. Like, so volunteers are there for a virus that's supposed to turn you within a day, at least, according to this movie's rules. That didn't make any sense whatsoever. So it was weird.
I didn't care. I thought it was stupid.
If you would have cut that whole segment along with the daughter and all of that, and you would have had chance to flesh out the rest and then choose a fucking tone, this would have been a solid movie.
Yeah, the daughter plotline was stupid. I wish she wasn't there. The internment camp was stupid. I wish that wasn't there. I wish there was more of people trying to rush, just making the sacrifice to get more money. You know, like I wish it was just. It would have been better if it was just a military zone. Like that whole internment camp was just a military base. That would have made more sense to me. Because,
right. And it's like, oh, let's try and sneak in there and try to no man's land it and get some money. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Because the point of it all was, it's the military stopping anything from getting out or going in. Mm-hmm. So I think that would have made more sense, like an entire military base around this fucking thing, than having an internment camp of refugees of Las Vegas refugees. Like that just didn't make sense to me.
Yeah. And then yeah, man, it's just fucking weird shit. They should have just stuck to it. Yeah.
The other thing I didn't like is the continual use of that out of focus shit that he kept doing.
You know what?
It was so annoying me. It was irritating me.
So I liked it for those soft moments, which they did it a lot. I know exactly what you mean, because Nomadland did that a lot, where it's like, let's keep the main person in focus and everything else out of focus. But again, that didn't work with the tone that I was expecting. So if you were going for like straight serious movie, that makes sense for like the soft moments. But it looked good, but at the same time it felt out of place. So I don't bust the movie's balls over that too much, but it did feel out of place tone wise for me. Yeah. It
just started irritating me. It was happening too much. I felt like the first few times, like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, oh, that's nice. I see it. And then it just kept happening.
Is that the Snyder cut thing you were talking about?
Yeah. He used it in the Snyder cut. It was fucking irritating. Especially in the Joker scene, the extra shit he filmed.
Oh, yeah.
That's literally the point of the Joker scene, was just that in and out focus. I'm just like, oh my God, Snyder. Like, I liked it, but then I I didn't mind it that much in the Snyder cut. But here, I'm just like, dude, you did that one scene, but like the entire movie here. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. And to defend the Joker scene, if they hadn't revealed it in a trailer, and you would have watched it for the first time and be like, oh my God, did they bring him back? Did they bring back Jared Leto? You know, it's out of focus. You're like, oh my God, is it him? And then when it gets into focus, you're like, oh my God, it's him. They did it. That would have been great. But it got ruined for us, so. Yeah. But so I defend that part, but.
Yeah. That kept just irritating me, dude. It just kept coming in and out every fucking time.
Yeah,
dude, just. I thought that he was doing it to cover the Tig moments. And oh my God, that's a smart way to play it out, like covering, the replacement of Tig, replacement of Chris D'Elia with Tig.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, that makes complete sense. Fucking do that, like it blends into the movie,
Right.
But my God, every single moment, it was just so annoying. It was irritating.
Yeah. Let's talk about that real quick. For those not in the know, the helicopter pilot was originally supposed to be Chris D'Elia. And apparently they did film the entire movie.
Yeah, the entire movie. He was in it. They did reshoots. It cost Netflix millions of dollars, apparently.
Yeah, and then they pretty much Me Too'd his ass, and then they decided to replace him with Tig Notaro, which is the deadpan comedian chick from Star Trek Discovery. That's where I know her from. She's pretty funny there. And I gotta tell you, they did a really fucking good job of replacing her in there.
There's a few spots where you noticed it, but apart from that, it was seamless.
Yes. I would say that, but it's also because I was looking for it, because I knew it going in. Now, if I didn't know going in...
I ruined that for you. Because I told you that. I fucked up.
Yes.
I should have never said anything to you.
You did. I was thinking to myself, I'm watching and I'm like, man, it looks really good. And I'm like, oh, she's clearly not there in that scene. Oh, she's clearly not there in that scene. But I'm like, man, how did they do that scene? That scene's really good. She's still there. And then another one, I'm like, I could see it. But I would say, man, it's pretty fucking solid. I looked it up, and the only person that she filmed with, only one actor came back. Yep, that's her. Yeah. So she was the Latina fake love interest that was very temporary.
That was, I think, the only moment I noticed that was when they're in the roof. I think that's probably the only scene that I feel like they both made sense.
Yeah. Yeah. But, man, pretty fucking solid the way they stuck her in there and still made her seem like she was part of the film.
Very flawless, dude. So flawless.
I will say the hype behind her is very overhyped, because I guess I was expecting her to have a oh shit wow moment. She didn't really have that. She just had like a couple
She just looked cool. Jokes. She looked cool. That's what it was.
I guess. I guess. You know? I've seen her already, so I'm just like, yeah, she's Tig. That's her. She doesn't act like anyone else. She's just her, deadpan, doesn't give a fuck. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh, she's the same as she is in Star Trek, same as she is in her stand-up, shit like that. So I guess I wasn't that impressed. I was more impressed that they stuck her in the movie pretty seamlessly.
Yeah, she killed it, dude. Like, just the fact that, you know what? I think, the other thing that's impressive is the fact that she did all this by herself, dude. Yeah, she fucking killed it by herself. Yeah. So it's kind of like, that's more impressive, dude. You're replacing somebody and you're being forced into a movie. You had no chemistry with anybody, and yet you still killed it.
You still did it, yeah. I guess what works with that is that she's deadpan, so it works. Like, no matter what, you're still gonna be a disconnect, because that's the point. I will say I do prefer. I prefer with the way it turned out with her over Chris D'Elia. Because I know his type of humor, and I preferred this chick for sure. Yeah, I think it was a better choice.
Yeah, the deadpan over the douchiness, charismatic guy or whatever,
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the deadpan definitely played better out with the character itself than would have been the other way around. The sweet talking whatever douche or something like that,
Yeah.
What did you feel about the so for me, I really enjoyed the kill of the love interest. Like that just came out of nowhere. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, I'm cool with that, but it goes back to the way they did it. Went back to the over the top. It felt out of place with the tone of the movie. If this were Zombieland and they would have done that, then I would have been like, oh shit. But it took me out of it. It was like that sad, serious moment like the rest of the movie was. And then you get that and I'm like, oh, you switched tones again. That was my thinking. So it would have been a good movie. Sorry. It would have been a good scene if it would have been consistent. So, but thinking of it, how it turned out, I like the idea of it, but I didn't like the way the execution, I should say. I like the idea that they kill someone unexpectedly like that. I actually wanted that to happen in the movie, and it happened at that moment. So I'm like, oh, there it is, the unexpected kill. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed it. I really liked that scene. It came out of nowhere, and you were feeling, oh, these guys are gonna reconnect. They're gonna fall in love again, and then
slap.
Yeah, that shit was crazy, man. And he just went crazy after that. You know what I continue not to understand about this movie is that the nukes, right? So the nuke hits, and these motherfuckers are just hanging out outside the nuke area. Like, isn't there fallout after that?
Yeah, there's totally fallout. It's fucking nukes, so, unless they deact. I don't know, but yeah, there should be fallout. Especially the dude that got out of
The vault.
The safe, the vault. I'm radioactive with my radioactive money and.
Like
yeah,
for
man,
me, I thought he was dead already. Like he got locked into the vault. He couldn't get out of that. So once the nuke hit, the nuke must have like rigged free the vault.
Yeah.
But regardless, you're in the middle of the fucking nuclear hell. Like, how did you just get out and be like, oh man, this is a nice bomb? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, I got my money. Yeah, yeah, man. I didn't get any of that.
I felt like he should have never said nuke. I think it would have just been like a bomb barrage or some shit like that, you know?
Yeah,
like light the town up.
Yeah, exactly. Something to not make the place radioactive, 100%. That was definitely one of the weird parts. Did you notice? I'm sure you did notice that the president was totally supposed to be Trump.
Yeah, Trump. He was like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be cool" or some shit like that.
I forgot how they worded it, but there was they even when they were quoting him, they were even doing the pauses because he would always do the pauses. Very great, very great. It's gonna be beautiful. I don't know. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. But again, that would have played better for the other tone. It always goes back to that,
Yeah.
It plays better when you were going that route. It just kept taking me out of it with those little moments. But yeah,
I found it very curious that the zombies didn't like explode throughout the United States. They were somehow contained in this area.
Yeah, I don't know that either. Unless
that's interesting twist of the story.
Unless they would have explained better that they dry out when they try to leave Vegas in the desert area. They tried to spread and they dried out and they stayed contained in the shelter of the buildings. Maybe in the prequel they'll bring that part in. Because I was like, how the fuck did you guys get all these containers, these fishing containers? Not fishing containers. Like ship containers.
Ship containers.
To cover it. And you have the internment camp just one shipping container away, but whatever. Where's the logic in that, I suppose?
Yeah. As I'm saying, it just would have made more sense if it was a military base.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it was a military base, all that would have made more sense. It would have been plausible.
So, talking about some of the good shit, I already told you a bunch of the good shit about like the opening stuff. When they went like bonkers. Craziness was when it was at its best. I actually really enjoyed the chemistry between the German and the black dude. It was a nice little build-up, He was the comedy there. He was eccentric. That's what I wanted. I wanted all the characters to be more eccentric. I like the idea of the YouTube guy. I wanted to see him. I would have liked to have seen him doing like Facebook Live or YouTube Live while he's there shooting.
My thing is, how the fuck did he record those zombie scenes? Did he do all that when he was in Vegas?
I was just thinking that. I don't know because it looked like he was in a neighborhood.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I didn't get that either. I'm like, wait, did some escape? How? I don't get it. Whatever, fuck it. But I like the idea of him being a crazy like Twitter guy that goes out there and like kills zombies for like views and likes and shit. And I felt they could have even done it like one better by like having him get sponsors for like energy drinks and shit. I felt like his character should have been like 100% crazy. And then maybe when he was in there, he just starts live streaming him killing zombies, But they didn't go that route. So I'm like, there's so much potential to make these characters wild. In my opinion, the only one that was a little wild was the German. He was super eccentric.
Yeah.
Where he was talking about, he was practically talking about that vault, like he was going to make love to it and like touch it. Like, let me relax. Always trying to do the fist bumps. It was just like, this is the right amount of weird that I wanted for each of my characters. Each of their characters.
Yeah.
So
I like that badass chick like that the security guy betrayed.
Dude killed. Yes.
That girl was badass, dude.
Dude, she was like, I've never killed anyone before, and then she ends up killing like 15 zombies. She solos an entire room. That was a great scene, especially with her like Assassin's Creeding all of them in there real quick. I was like, oh shit, this is crazy. But so she kills all 15 of them. Great fucking scene. That's definitely a plus in the movie. You think she's finally dead, and she busts out the window, and you're like, oh. But then what happens right after is absolute bullshit. Two things. One, they don't come and save her. There's like 4 zombies out there at the time. A whole squad of people. She took out 15. You're telling me a whole squad can't kill 5? They just go, leave her. She's done. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then her final moments before she dies, she doesn't yell, this motherfucker's a traitor. Like, no, she does.
Yo, that's the thing that was bothering me so much. You could yell out, run, leave me, run. But you couldn't yell out, this fucking guy betrayed me. This fucking guy.
Yeah.
You know, like.
Yeah.
He
locked me in
should
there,
have been your last words. That should have been your last words.
Don't trust him. Fuck
you know
this. I know, dude.
It should have never been run. It should have been like, this guy fucking got me killed.
Yeah, man. The most badass character in the movie, essentially, was her, because she got her moment to shine. No one else really did. Batista got his anger of wrestling people, wrestling the zombies, which is cool.
Yeah,
I wanted more of that, but yeah. Ah, man, that annoyed me. I'm like, man, what a great scene. And immediately after, I think that was the moment that the movie went downhill for me. After that moment, I'm just like, oh. And then from there, it never sparked it back up, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
Tiger scene was cool, though.
I love the scene, the casino scene, when they were all shooting out and then people started dying there. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's true. That's where we first saw the robot.
Yeah, but Batista did a good job, I feel. You know, especially in the serious moments. I think Batista's, I think really could really do a good job in a drama movie, man. I mean, if you think about it, he did great in Blade Runner.
Yes, he did.
So like, I feel like he could kill it in a drama.
Blade Runner is easily the best acting he's ever done.
Yeah. And I think the more I see him in like these slow dramatic moments, I feel like he could actually pull it off. Like I think he could be in a drama movie and do a really good at it.
Especially when you compare it to where he started. I remember he was in Man with the Iron Fist, and I'm like, this guy is terrible.
Yeah,
he's so terrible. And then from that to that, he's definitely grown. So yeah, I definitely think he was cast right here. It's just man. It was just script. Script was everywhere, man. It needed to be more. I think he had just crazy ADHD writing this shit, and he just started throwing shit to the wall, see what sticks. It should have been, you know, if you're gonna build a universe,
cool ideas he wanted to stuff into the movie.
Yeah, man, have a stronger foundation if you want a universe build. Look what happened to the Mummy. The Mummy was supposed to do a whole fucking monster universe, and they were like all kinds of craziness. You know, Tom Cruise running, mummy craziness, and then Dr. Jekyll, and it's like, nope, you fucked up. Now you don't have your movies. So yeah, I feel like this, if it weren't for Netflix, this would happen to this movie.
For sure, I agree. Yeah, definitely.
It would have been like, you ain't getting no fucking sequels. But
yeah. Any last thoughts on the movie?
No, that actually was the gist of it. Yeah. That's pretty much it.
For sure. I think we thoroughly talked about this movie.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed this review of Army of the Dead on Netflix. You can go watch it right now. It's streaming currently. Let us know your thoughts on the movie. Did you enjoy it? Yay or nay? Till next time.
Bye-bye.